They are. So a little bit about Specter's basic movement, if you're not familiar with the character. He jumps slightly lower than Shovel Knight does. He runs a little bit faster, but he also has the ability to climb walls, and if he's ever in the air, he can do a dash attack, provided that an enemy or an object is nearby. A reticle will appear showing that you can do a dash attack to them.
Yeah, Specter's movement is very different from the other two characters in this game. And his playing stage, which is the kind of tutorial stage to show you how to play, is very different to compensate for that.
Yeah, all of Specter's stages have actually been completely reworked. Unlike from Shovel to Plague, Plague just had a couple of enemies placed in different spots, maybe a couple of the room elements flipped around, but Specter actually had a complete overhaul. Now, you may have seen Tohloo had already picked up a Red Skull. And Red Skulls are the currency used in this campaign for the Curios, which are Specter's sub-weapons.
Yeah, the curio that every runner is going to be using is Judgment Rush, and then either the Skeletal Sentry or Bounding Soul. But those aren't picked up until a little bit later in the run.
Amps is picking up the Will Wisp, which is a permanent health upgrade. It allows him to survive a little bit more. Tohloo is going to forgo that. He actually, I know for a fact, he's going to go for every single strat he would normally go for in a run.
Yeah, Tohloo is not a fan of wasting time for any reason.
Amps just missed the Bubble Dragon Skull. I'm assuming that instead of getting it, he's going to try and figure out a replacement skull somewhere else. It does take a little bit of time to try and go back for it.
So now Tohloo is into the Black Knight fight, which is a relatively easy fight. Basically, he's just going to be using dash slashes to stun lock Black Knight in between the wall and that second waterfall to the right there.
It's a little spacing dependent, but it's fairly easy for Specter.
Ooh, he actually dropped the stun lock, which will probably allow Amps to get some extra time back, but Tohloo didn't waste too much time getting him down.
That's actually kind of hilarious.
Oh, Amps dropped the stun lock too.
Yeah, if you get too aggressive on Black Knight, you can accidentally let him slip out of the corner, and ideally Terrapin will be on the right side of the wall. The stage doesn't end until Terrapin makes a hole and Specter walks out.
So now that both runners are out of the planes, they'll be heading to the Flying Machine, which is the only stage done without the rail mail upgrade in the normal 80% route. Normally a late game stage, it's pretty challenging, but the runners have it down pat pretty much.
Yeah, they're passing through the tower lobby, which is another change between Shovel's and Specter's campaign. Specter just has a hub, and his level select is completely free. He doesn't have to go through a world map. So he can pick any of the stages, but they go to Flying Machine because it unlocks the best curio and offers the most money. They're going to need a lot of money to purchase the rail mail upgrade that Pete was talking about. And the Curio Judgment Rush is the best movement-based Curio, which is a little more important than getting damage. Specter already does a lot of damage on the ground. He swings the scythe really, really fast.
This stage is usually pretty scary, especially in a race situation, because the normal route breaks a lot, if not all, of the checkpoints. So we will be seeing runners probably leaving some checkpoints available, because if they break said checkpoints for money and then they die, they'll have to go back pretty far, which can be really detrimental in a race.
Something tells me Tohloo's not gonna care. He's good, and I certainly believe he's fully capable of getting through the stage without dying. Like, he'll definitely be at least a little more careful, you know, with the riskier tricks, but he's definitely gonna not deviate from the route otherwise. Amps also breaking the 500 checkpoint before the auto-scroller. Not sure I agree with that. There is safety gold, and it is entirely possible to catch the same global cycles, which in this stage there are 2 rooms with fans that would prevent you from going at your best possible pace. One is immediately after the autoscroller, and another one is immediately after a dreaded room called Triple Jawas, which has 3 hover minis. They're a very dangerous enemy that can blow you into pits and basically make it impossible for you to get your money back.
Yeah, that room can be especially challenging, so I think if any checkpoints are left unbroken, it might be that room.
They need 5,400 by the time they get to Propeller, and they'll need and they'll get 3,000 from defeating Propeller. So the minimum is 8,400 to get Rail Mail, which is what they're looking to buy. There is some safety money in the lobby if they really, really need it, but most of it's really slow. Tohloo doing a nice job on the alternate Jellyfish strat.
He is opting to leave the Jawa checkpoint available.
Please don't dash to your death. Okay.
That was a very interesting strat there with the veto, hitting it up to beat the wind cycle.
Yeah, you can do that one of two ways. You can either hit it through the wall because of how gigantic Specter's Scythe is, or you can jump and get a dash attack downwards onto it. Here's Propeller Knight, and Amps just made it through Triple Jawas pretty okay. Propeller deals a full heart of damage with all of his lunge thrusts, and every time you hit him, he initiates the thrust, so it's difficult to continuously DPS him, unless if you know where he's going to be.
Tohloo got a very good first phase. He got all 10 hits, and then defeated him very, very quickly in the second phase. So that was a pretty excellent fight.
Good stuff. Amps choosing to bounce. Again, this is going to be a lot slower than staying grounded. Recoil takes way longer to recover from than just slashing from the floor.
He still got 8 hits though, so still not bad at all.
Yeah, Amps is actually really, really good. He's been putting a lot of work into this character. Tohloo picking up Judgment Rush. He's probably also going to do the Odd Rush at the end of it. Yeah, so a slightly strange thing about the dungeon rooms is that you can't use your scythe in there, but if you try to initiate an attack while you're over red, the NPC, it treats it like you're standing on the ground, so you just kind of ride his head and get out of there.
So now Amps is picking up Judgment Rush, which basically allows him to teleport across the screen to any enemy and deal a stronger attack than normal to that enemy. So as you can see, Tohloo is using that to skip large sections of the rooms in Explodatorium.
Amps, Tohloo is definitely the frame-saving king, so you're going to see him cutting corners everywhere. However, the downside, as you might have just seen, to trying to save every single frame, is that he's likely to bonk and miss the cycle for being as perfect as he can try to be. I don't blame him for going for it. I just wish he would be a little safer. Oh no!
No. So Amps is going for the Skeletal Sentry route, so he's in the Lich Yard stage. So Tohloo might still wind up being ahead even with that death because the Bounding Soul route is a bit faster.
Yeah, the Bounding Soul route is currently over a minute faster if you're really getting super optimal.
So now Tohloo is back past where he died. In the dreaded pot cycle room. He got through it alright, losing a bit of time though.
Yeah.
Will he heal?
Oh,
yes, he is going for the health.
Heal, thank you. So pot lids deal a heart and a half, rat explosions deal a full heart, those potions that just fell onto him also deal a full heart. This stage is lethal. And he's coming up on the Alchemeister. This mini-boss, pretty annoying. You have to fight the current, so using the rail to constantly grind back and forth is the best strategy here. But it can be tricky not to bonk into the wall behind him. And if you accidentally get body touched by the Alchemeister once he transforms, that's another full heart of damage.
Yeah, the reason Tohloo could basically be inside of the Alchemeister while still hitting him is because when Spectre is hitting an enemy, that enemy actually doesn't have a hitbox that can hurt him.
It's
only for a short amount of time.
Yeah, it's a really nice property for Shovel Knight, is that you are allowed to pass through enemy hitboxes so long as you're dealing damage to them. And enemies also don't really have a ton of invincibility frames. There's like a small amount. Yeah, Black Knight, but for the most part, bosses don't have invincibility frames. Amps is fighting Phantom Striker. Ooh, he actually just touched one of those, the ball lightning actually, oh my god, it deals a full-hearted damage. Be careful, dude.
If he takes one more hit, he's dead. Ooh, very nice kill. And now Tohloo is fighting Plague Knight, who is far more challenging in the Bounding Soul route. Because you have to fight him without any weapons, so it's harder to track down his clones that he makes, but Tohloo made quick work of him anyways.
Yeah, each of the runners, because they're going on different routes, they have to deal with bosses slightly differently. Amps just did his boss without a weapon, and Tohloo just did his boss without a weapon. I would argue that Plague is far more annoying because of constantly teleporting around, and it could just waste a lot of time rather than being incredibly lethal like Phantom Striker.
So now both players are in the first memory stage, where Spectre gets to play as Donovan, who is his past self before he became Spectre Knight. And these stages are pretty short. They have a lot of money in them, though, and Spectre actually keeps all of the money that he gains in these levels in the present, but he doesn't have any upgrades during them.
Yeah, no weapon or armor, but you do get your health and mana upgrades for this stage. That's slightly important for the second memory sequence.
So, short stage, both runners got through it just fine.
I would say currently Amps is ahead right now, because they both finished short stages that did not have an auto-scroller.
So now Amps is going to be going to Tinker Knight stage without his extra weapon, but Tohloo is going to be buying the Bounding Soul before he goes to his next stage, which will likely be Mole Knight stage.
Bounding Soul is fired at 45-degree angles. You can have two out on the screen at the same time. However, it does not pierce. It's not a particularly great weapon right now. It's kind of like an uncooked meatball. But we can make it real spicy once we get past Lost City.
Yeah, the reason the runners purchase the Bounding Soul before being able to upgrade it is actually because Mole Knight's fight is actually relatively fast with it. You can still one-cycle Mole Knight before he does his big flame attack and wastes a bunch of time, even with the unupgraded soul.
Amps just did a great job on the Clockwork Tower intro. Oh my goodness. That's actually an extremely mana-tight beginning, and he actually didn't miss any of the tricks.
So now Tohloo is in Beetle Skip 1.
Oh, please don't beef it. Oh, thank God. He goes for, like, the hardest version of Beetle 1, too.
You can make Beetle 1 pretty easy if you rely on Judgment Rush and have the mana to do it. But Tohloo went for basically the hardest strat.
Yeah, Tohloo is definitely gonna be a good example of all the most optimal strats, even stuff that I don't go for because I just don't find it run friendly.
Yeah, it can be pretty scary to try and do a lot of the things that Tohloo does in the middle of a run.
Something tells me he's also gonna go for Lost Spaghetti, which is a pretty cool trick. Amps is in the middle of the Clockwork Tower auto-scroller. There's two of them. He's just gonna get free skulls and money and a chance to relax. It's a really threatening stage. Checkpoints are really far out of the way, and food is few and far between. He'll have to heal because Tinker Knight just deals so much damage. But we're gonna see Tohloo coming up on Beetle 2, and I actually do want to see him go for Lost Spaghetti.
Ooh, that was nice. Very interesting with the meatball there.
Oh, and he got the double dash off the lantern? Oh, he's just going for the regular low percent. Okay, that's fine too. Tohloo started Spectre with low percent, and low percent is still practically the most optimal way of going through that room.
That was an extremely impressive Lost City, especially the second ending parts.
Tohloo trying to get double hits because of the recoil on Spectre's dash attacks in the air. Oh no! Please! No!
Oh no!
Did he happen to touch the checkpoint? Okay,
he did.
God. Mole Knight can deal a ton of damage for some reason. Like, he deals a heart and a half when he drops and quakes the goo down. And Spectre is only on 4 health on Tohloo's feed right now.
So as you can see here, Spectre doing more of the not getting hit by enemies while dealing damage to them. He just did a massive amount of damage to Mole while he was in that corner there.
Yeah, you have to get tapped by him on the way in, but apart from that, you can just stay right there in his hurt box and just slash him to bits.
So now Amps is going to be coming up on Tinker Knight's level.
Tinker Knight, very different from Shovel Knight's incarnation. First of all, there's no gimme, there's no one shot with the mobile gear. Tinker's using that mobile gear. Secondly, Tinker on the gear deals a full heart of damage with bodily contact, so it's extremely lethal. I don't blame him for healing. Tohloo just went to the upgrade vendor Legion. For 3,000 gold, you can wake him up, and 4,000 upgrades Bounding Soul. It now pierces, it can bounce like crazy, and having 4 on the screen makes it really easy to make quick work of enemies. Nice, he's going for the... This is actually a really consistent kill.
The Bounding Soul makes the Dark Reese fight significantly easier because Reese likes to go where the Skeletal Sentry can't hit him. But the Bounding Soul can bounce upwards in more vertical areas. So we'll see Amps having... He might have a bit of trouble with that because of that property of Dark Reese, but Tohloo did not have that problem because of his usage of the Bounding Soul.
Oh no, Amps tried to use Judgment Rush to deal damage to Tinker, but because Tinker swings around so much, Judgment Rush targets where the enemy was, not where they currently are. So if they move around too fast, you're probably going to miss them.
Very nice Tinker kill other than that little drop at the beginning. He dropped it when you would want to drop it because he can still use the platforms to get back up on the Tinker if you drop it in the early phases of the fight.
Tohloo making his way through Iron Whale. I love this stage. It's pretty fun. You're a little beefier because you got your upgraded weapon going with you. Still a little tight on mana. He's going to be having to conserve a little bit. Oh my goodness! He's going to have to adjust now. He had to use a rush to save his life. Oh wow! He actually still had enough mana. That's crazy. And that's great for him. That's all he needs for the beginning section. He's also over budget. He has 2,300 gold. He only needs 2,000 by the time he beats this stage, so he's good. He doesn't have to worry about cash, that's for sure.
He actually broke the checkpoint in Mole Knight stage after he died to that fight, because I think he probably believed he might not have been able to get his money back, but he did wind up getting it all back.
Coolio.
So now Amps he has his upgraded Skeletal Sentry, and he is in the Dark Reese fight, and Tohloo is in the 420 Fish, also known as Tethalon fight.
Yeah, we'll see if he can get some really good reflex here. Nice, I like what he's going for. Ooh! Nice, and he left those bubbles up so that he wouldn't just fall to his death afterwards. Amps getting some good volleys.
Yeah, on Amps' screen you can really see the disadvantage that Skeletal Sentry has in this fight, because you can see Reese kind of jumping where a Sentry can't hit him. But he still got a pretty quick kill anyway. Yeah,
you don't want to take too long on Reese because the bosses all have health gate moves, desperation moves. Whenever they reach certain amounts of health, they'll do something different, and Dark Reese likes to teleport away for like a gorillion years, so unfortunately it took a little bit too long there. Reese got to the top right corner. Ooh, my goodness. Tohloo, give him smooch. Makes it past Big Bertha, who deals 2 full hearts of damage. She's actually one of the most lethal things in this game. How does he handle Treasure? It's getting pretty good. Nice, very good kill.
Treasure Knight goes down really fast in both the Skeletal Sentry and the Bounding Soul routes, because he has such a big hitbox. It's really easy to have tons of projectiles hit him. And Amps actually taking a bit of a death there. He hit the spikes in that tentacle room, which is pretty unfortunate. but I don't think he's going to be losing too much time. So
Yeah.
Tohloo is definitively ahead at this point.
Oh man, I've had that happen before. I'm so sorry, Amps. So now Tohloo makes his way to the Lich Yard, and now he actually doesn't have to do any of the busy work Amps needed to. Jesus Christ, Amps.
Those rushes do look pretty scary, but because of the lowered falling speed, because of the water in this level, it's actually pretty easy to react if you mess up the tentacle room and have to use a rush. So not surprising in that both Amps and Tohloo were able to save themselves.
Tohloo making his way through the dark rooms. Nice.
Oh no!
Oh, you gotta be kidding me! I jinxed it so hard.
And now he's all the way back at the beginning of the Lich Yard.
It was literally right behind the next checkpoint. You skipped the one on the frog rush.
He's going for some pretty fancy strats to get that frog out of the way with the Bounding Soul.
Frame save king.
So it appears Amps is going for the hard quick kill on the Tethalon, but he didn't actually get it.
Yeah, he would have gotten it. That was a great placement on the Skeletal Sentry. It automatically detonates after it throws out 2 volleys, so he would have had it if he had used Judgment Rush.
So Tohloo actually did only get back one of his 3 bags that he lost, and I think it was the smaller of the 3.
Yeah,
So
I don't think
we may
he's
see
going
how
to need
that
it.
affects money.
I really don't think he's going to need it. Tohloo being not only experienced, but following the route that I do, I know for a fact that he really doesn't have anything to worry about. You only need 4,000 gold by the time you beat Clockwork Tower. He has 1,000 now. He's going to get 2,000 from defeating Phantom Striker. He definitely doesn't have to worry about money, unless if he dies like way more times.
Okay, so he's fine. And Amp's getting through the Bertha room as well. And now he's coming up on the Treasure Knight fight. Tohloo nearing the end of the Lich Yard.
I'm excited. Oh my god,
no.
Tohloo, please! He also didn't pick up the safety check right before the dark room, so he got a little more backtrack there. Man, I can't believe Amps actually has like a really strong chance of beating Tohloo if Tohloo doesn't start taking some safety. He didn't pick up the checkpoint again.
Not picking up that checkpoint didn't waste too much time though, because between those 2 checkpoints it's pretty fast to get through actually. And now he's on the Phantom Striker fight, where he will be rushing Phantom Striker at the beginning and then bouncing his basketballs down in that little corner that Phantom Striker's in, and they'll deal a ton of damage to him.
He accidentally walked into Phantom Striker, prevented him from shooting out one of the basketballs. You can actually push him straight to this invincibility phase on that first pass. Meanwhile, Amp's heading to Lost City. Tohloo, please don't take too much damage! My dude, I don't need these heart attacks!
So Amps is going to have a bit of an easier time in the Lost City than Tohloo did, because Amps has double the darkness that Tohloo did when he was going through this stage.
Because Tohloo has technically completed more stages than Amps has right now, Tohloo is in the second memory. Just got Caltrops from Luan. Will Luan go?
Go, Luan, go!
Go! Is he? No! So, Luan is, I don't know why he does that, but sometimes he just, he stands still instead of running up ahead of you. Why?
Amps opted to use, the bit of a safer, easier version of Beetle Skip 1 using Judgment Rush to get through it.
You might have seen Tohloo throwing a couple Caltrops. Those can actually be used very conveniently to nudge enemies out of the way. And I think he's a little low on mana right now. 36 is only going to be 6 more Caltrops for Shield Knight. You can't hit her from the front. You have to let her run over Caltrops that are fully resting for them to deal damage to her.
When she does throw out her big shield, she can be hit from the front.
And she'll just straight up destroy Caltrops if she happens to do a charging attack. Only a heart left. Nice!
That was a crazy fast fight.
That was pretty good. You can either set up Caltrops and then do your damage manually to her, and then she'll run over them, or you can use them to speed up those phases as well. But she starts moving based on how many hits you've done to her. Ooh, nice! Very good detonate there. That was super fast. Go Amps! Skeletal Sentry's detonation can be used to clear out dirt, slime, and stone blocks, and that makes that a very safe room. The fight itself is also pretty easy. Having a bit of trouble there with the dirt blocks on the last way out. But Mole Knight should be running straight through most of these bullets.
So yeah, after this fight, Amps is going to be entering that second memory level that Tohloo was just on. And Tohloo is going to be in Clockwork Tower now. Bit of a long stage, but he will be going through it pretty fast.
Yeah, this stage is about 3.5 to 4 minutes long, so we're going to see how much of a lead Amps might be having here on Tohloo. Oh my god! Tohloo almost taking a nosedive.
He could have saved himself with a rush if he wasn't able to make that jump, but that would have wasted a lot of time. He would have rushed that rat all the way back in the corner of the screen.
Yeah, I remember doing that once to try and save my life because I thought I was going to get a Judgment Rush stall, and instead I was like all the way over to the left. Really? Thanks, video game. Nice use of Caltrops on Amps' screen.
Ooh, he actually got through that third Liquid Samurai without using any attacks or anything. I did not know you could do that. That was very interesting.
Yeah, you gotta be pretty fast to do that. Ooh, yeah. He was a little bit slow there to beat that fire droplet. Because Amps had
Good save, though.
4 darkness when he entered this stage, he actually has a ton of mana right now, so he can spam way more Caltrops than Tohloo could. Interesting spot to throw them at. Interesting Shield Knight fight. Choosing to fight her on the left. She still has quite a lot of health left. You really want to finish her off before she starts throwing both shields. And when she gets them back, she's actually going to start doing her fully charged ram attacks. Okay.
Tohloo opting for a bit of safety there, getting that checkpoint. All the checkpoints in this stage are really out of the way, so the runners skip a majority of them, so it's good in a race situation to get those checkpoints if you can.
Oh no! Oh my goodness! That was really scary. Tohloo opting to bait the Duck Knight, but he also was extremely low on health, so he went to go heal. He actually got stabbed on the way out. If that had happened the other way around, he would have been sent back real far.
So now Amps is in the Explodatorium, the stage that Tohloo did second. So he's going to be having a bit of an easier time in this stage than Tohloo did because of he has his Skeletal Sentry and he has more darkness. So the fight with the Alchemeister, the big transforming wizard, will be significantly easier because the Skeletal Sentry sends out a ton of bullets all at the same time, which can hit his very large hitbox.
And with all this mana, instead of having to do all the optimal rail-only versions of room strats, Amps will actually just get to use Judgment Rush if he so desires. So here comes Tohloo on Tinker. I hope he puts up a good fight here. Bounding Soul on Tinker is very powerful. Looking good. He's kind of missing some hits here. Tinker will rear back at 3 full hearts left. One more hit. Okay, there he is.
He took a bit of damage, but he'll be fine. He gets to heal before the second phase. And now Amp's demonstrating that quick kill on the Alchemeister that I was talking about earlier. Killing him before he can even transform.
Oh no, Tohloo got stuck on the shoulder there. He had to use a rush to save his life. He won't get more basketball shots now. Maybe he can still use a couple. Okay, he's decided to use 2 right there. Nice, he did get one of them to reflect back.
Really good Tinker kill, even with that setback at the beginning.
Yeah, bosses actually will yield a small amount of darkness after they lose certain amounts of health. So you actually do get a another opportunity, but I wasn't sure if he was going to save it for a rush or if he was going to go ahead and try and spam a couple more balls. Tohloo picking up his 4th Darkness. If he's strictly following the route, it looks like he is. He shouldn't be getting anything else now.
So now Amps is in the Plague Knight fight, which is made again easier by the usage of the Skeletal Sentry, but Amps is having a bit of trouble hitting the real Plague Knight.
Yeah, he unfortunately wasn't able to stay grounded and deal as much DPS to Plague. But now they both have the same 2 bosses left, King and Polar. They're just going to be doing them in opposite order to keep up with optimal map movement. So Amps is hitting the Stranded Ship. Tohloo's already in Pridemore, making his way to my favorite. Let's see how he does with Paul Blart.
Yeah, this next gold armor coming up is a pretty great security guard,
Nice.
but Tohloo got right past him.
Yeah, that's actually really, really difficult. You have to do a very short and deceptively early jump, and you still have to hit the gold armor, otherwise you're going to get knocked back, possibly into the open pit.
So Tohloo is a bit ahead of Amps, but for the most part, they are relatively even right now.
This is great. Tohloo definitely needs to start playing a lot more safely. He definitely still has time saves that Skeletal Sentry does not have access to. The boss kills at the end can certainly pull it ahead for him.
The 2 runners basically just Judgment Rushed in sync.
Word. Does Tohloo get this? Nice! The rushless version of that room is also a thing to behold. And now he's going through the final book room.
The books can be activated both by hitting them with the Scythe and with the Bounding Soul. So we saw earlier Tohloo used his Bounding Soul to not have to stop and hit the first book. Very interesting strat. And Amp's actually taking a death in the Stranded Ship. Pretty unfortunate. Now Tohloo's going to have quite a bit of a lead on him.
Yeah, using Bounding Soul on King Knight, it's actually a little difficult there. He does get a nice kill. Because of the floor constantly shifting around on the King Knight encounter, it's difficult to get predictable basketball rebounds.
So now Tohloo is in the 3rd memory, but the 3rd memory is just a cutscene, so he can skip it.
Ooh, nice! Amps gets the detonate there. Yeah, both runners are going to be able to hit these switches in interesting ways. I hope he goes for the gnarly toss. Having a little bit of trouble skipping over that rail.
So the gnarly toss is a bit of a difficult.
Yes!
He used the detonation of the Skeletal Sentry to actually hit that switch, which is significantly harder to do than using the Bounding Soul to hit it. So
over the shoulder. Instead, Tohloo will get to go from downtown with his basketballs.
So the runners currently both in the same stage, the Stranded Ship, but Amps, again, a little behind because he still has to do Pridemore Keep, King Knight stage.
Yeah, Amps took a couple hits there. Tohloo didn't grab that checkpoint. It's not too difficult to make it past the Bifrost Broodmother here, but if he falls into a pit, that's bad. He's probably not going to get this checkpoint either. Of course not. My dude, please. These spikes are actually kind of lethal, so... Okay, thank God.
Yeah, it's very easy to very slightly mess up your spacing and fall right onto those spikes.
Let's see how... ooh, Amps looks like he set it up right. Nice!
Very, very nice kill on Polar from Amps.
From downtown! Nice, Tohloo making... Yeah, he actually optimized his darkness pretty well, too. He manages to make use of most of the tricks in this stage. Stranded Ship being another darkness-heavy stage here.
So now Amps passed the 3rd memory. Only one more stage left, Pridemore Keep.
Will Tohloo get hit? Nice! Okay, cool. He did manage to put a shot in a good spot. Those archers, as they skate around, are notorious for hitting players. When we were doing low percent, Tohloo and I, that room sucked. The low percent way of getting through that room optimally is extremely precise. A Banding Soul, not quite as effective on Polar, however, we'll see if he can get a good set of rebound juggles. Nice. Good corner dribble. Very good!
Amps, getting through all these rooms in Pridemore Keep very easily. He has extra darkness, so he can use Judgment Rush a bit more liberally.
Uses Judgment Rush to get past security. So now Tohloo is heading over to the final stages. He's heading to Tower 1. Tower 1 is an amalgamation of everything you've seen in all the other stages because of the fact that you can choose stages in any order up until now. The developers decided to crank up the difficulty. Since you could pick any stage in any order, they were like, okay, well, they could potentially start here. Now, they're just not holding your hand in the slightest anymore. Tohloo doing a kind of scary damage boost. I'll probably do the one-cycle books here.
Yes, he is going for it.
Nice. And he'll probably be skating on these spikes as well. Very good. He didn't die.
He did miss it and fall down. He's going for it again. He went for a bit of an easier version, but still a pretty scary strat, skating on those spikes.
Oddly enough, he went for Amps' version. Not too long ago, Amps was not pleased with the amount of times he'd failed that trick, so he found the slightly, like maybe a half-second slower version of that room. But it's so free. Please don't fall to your death, Amps!
So again, another disadvantage of the Skeletal Sentry being demonstrated in Amp's King fight. When King Knight flies up there after he falls in a hole, Skeletal Sentry can't really hit him at all. But Amps did kill King Knight pretty fast anyways.
Tohloo making it past all the Gravediggers, makes it past the Slime Room, heading up to Bertha now. I guarantee you he's gonna go for the... Okay, cool. Give her a smooch to get out again? Oh, Jesus! Wow.
So now Tohloo is in the final auto-scroller of this stage, while Amps is going to be entering the stage. Amps having to wait a little bit there for the pot cycle to match up to what he wants to get the damage boost he wanted.
Tohloo doing a slight setup to skip the auto-scroller last portion there. You don't have to wait for it to reach the top of the screen. You can actually just get out as soon as you can grab the ladder.
So Tohloo now in this last rail segment, which isn't really hard at all. He just kind of skates there, waiting for the Black Knight fight to come up.
Yeah, Black Knight is the is the nightmare here. He's actually arguably the hardest boss in Specter's campaign. Amp's having a little bit of trouble there. Let's see if Tohloo goes for the aerial battle. I hope he can get this stunlock. Because Black Knight's in the air, you can technically still get the same plane stunlock on him, but now you have to deal with him like waggling around really hard.
Tohloo is pretty low health, and he just knocked him down, so he might have a bit of difficulty here, but
yeah,
Black Knight is low health too.
Please, my dude! Okay, good.
One of the basketballs hitting him in the air. So Tohloo will be entering the final stage a bit ahead of Amps, but it's still anyone's game depending on how fast Amps kills Black Knight and depending on how Tohloo's next fights go.
Yeah, if Tohloo is gonna go complete YOLO, he might not pick up the checkpoint before Enchantress, and I really, really hope he does. It only costs like a second or two to go out of your way for.
So now Tohloo's going to be playing The Legend of
Oh
Zelda.
no!
Oh, that's very
And
unfortunate.
Amps didn't pick up the checkpoint before the autoscroller either. That's super unfortunate.
So Tohloo using a bit of an interesting trick in the block puzzle room, where he actually slashed the 5th set of blocks that came
Is
at
he
him.
going to? Ah,
He didn't go for the wind strat.
there's a good lord. What do we even call that? Like the Great Lift?
I don't even know what to call it. It looks
So
like it looks like he's being blown up by wind, like in Propeller Stage.
He found this crazy strat where, like it'd been seen before. I think Speedfrog and Muncha found it, but Tohloo managed to apply it to that room. Where if you grab the ledge of one of those blocks as it rises upwards, thank you for grabbing that checkpoint, by the way, you actually get the same lift, and you get flung to the top of the screen. Good stuff so far with Enchantress. She's actually really low. Yeah, nice. Go under there. One more hit. Beautiful.
Excellent Enchantress kill. Probably the best one he could have gotten.
Only one thing left to do, and that's dealing with Reese's rails. Nightmare Reese himself is not terribly difficult, but the rails are completely RNG, and that makes this fight more difficult for runners than it does for the casual base. You want the rails to be right next to Reese's face so that you can just continually grind up against him. But
Casually, this fight is extremely easy because casually you don't have to worry about time, and casual players will typically have all of the health upgrades and a lot of weapons for this fight.
yeah, getting knocked back costs a lot of time. Those balls can easily deal full heart damage to you, cost you 5 seconds, forcing you to chase them back. Amp's actually doing pretty good up in the air on Black Knight.
Using some interesting damage boosts.
He's taking a little bit too long, though. He is staying up in the air. He's definitely going to have to do some grounded hits, though, soon. Time on Tohloo. Good stuff. Wow, Amps, I'm super impressed that he's, like, literally refusing to let Black Knight down. Oh, come on, one more hit!
I'm surprised he didn't go for... I'm surprised he didn't go for using the Skeletal Sentry to try and get a hit. Skeletal Sentry detonation. So, but Amps is still on pace for a very, very good time.
Tohloo with the 4150, that's not bad. His current PB is a 39.20 or 30-something, I can't recall. But he's 3rd place right now.
Amps opting to buy the Striker's Shawl, which is typically what Skeletal Sentry runners will do. It takes away the ability to skate on the Scythe, but now he has a charge attack that deals double damage. So since the Skeletal Sentry runners don't have a weapon in the Nightmare Reese fight, and their weapon is a bit less effective on the Enchantress, having this armor makes both fights significantly easier. So now, Amps in the final approach, before the Enchantress fight, he's probably gonna get the checkpoint before the Enchantress. Not very slow to get. But if he does,
yeah, he definitely needs to get it. There's honestly no reason for him not to get it at this point. Sentry, unfortunately, won't be able to reach Enchantress once she gets in the air, so Charge Slash will hopefully force her dives a lot sooner. Nice! He actually did get it. Very good. One phase skip. Now he's going to be detonating a couple sentries here. Force her back out from under the floor. Couple good volleys there. She's actually almost dead.
a lot of great hits from his Skeletal Sentry.
One more! Come on!
Oh, if he had waited a little bit, he could have used that detonation to hit the Enchantress when she went to the left there, but he used another one.
Not bad.
So now he is on the final fight. And he actually can't place the Skeletal Sentry anywhere because Skeletal Sentry has nowhere to stand. So this is where the Striker's Shawl really helps in this fight.
Oh my goodness, yeah, he's waiting for better rails there. Especially with Charge
rails
Slash.
were horrendous.
Especially with Charge Slash, you really want to wait for Reese to be right next to one. Oh no, he accidentally clobbered himself right into him.
Those beginning rails were like absolutely awful. I can't believe he even was able to get those hits.
Really don't want to take too much damage here. Oh no!
So if he takes another hit from Reese, he will die because Reese does double damage compared to all the other bosses.
Yeah, every one of Reese's hits is extremely painful.
So now Tohloo's just practicing other stages. Amps, on his second attempt of Nightmare Reese, opting for bounces because of the kind of bad rail pattern.
Amps is really going to have to play a little bit more aware. Reese does telegraph all of his moves. Oh, Jesus!
Good save with that lantern.
Yo.
Amps could actually stall himself if he's about to fall by using a Judgment Rush to send himself back near Reese onto the rails.
But I still hate
and now
this
he's in
fight.
the final fight.
Even if
now
you can do all that. Ah! My dude, one more hit! Thank you.
Move.
Jesus.
Moo scream.
Yeah, I hear nothing yet. Good stuff to both of the runners.
Yeah, those were some pretty great runs.
So looking at speed gaming, they're going to have more Link to the Past stuff going on. There is the random... there's actually Ocarina of Time going on right now on speed gaming. And then at 4 o'clock, there's the Earthbound. As far as Shovel Knight goes, the next Specter of Torment tournament match. Wow, I got mixed up on that. That's actually tomorrow. Myself and Steelheart.
And we have Amps in the voice chat with us now. Amps, how do you think that run went?
That run honestly was pretty solid at first, besides me screwing up the Black Knight Sunlock. I actually have no idea what happened in Iron Will. Just randomly hit some spikes in the the tentacle room? I think that was right.
Yeah, that
it was the tentacle room.
Yeah, that was weird.
It's all good, man. Like, everyone makes mistakes. Tohloo actually made a lot of mistakes, too.
I mean, I came into this race and I wasn't expecting to win, but I felt like I could have done better than that.
Dude, I'm super proud of you.
Yeah, that was a pretty amazing run.
I don't know how shredded ship too. I don't know what happened there.
Tohloo just took the first. He just took a death in his practice run of Explodatorium that he's doing right now. He took the exact death that he did in the race.
So I mean, wait, I died like 5 times. How many times did he die?
You died a lot. Trust me. Yeah, I don't even know. Like, Troy is gonna have a lot of fun going back and counting all the deaths. I can tell you that much. So it looks like your next match is going to be up against the winner of Onel versus Breadpan.
Oh, okay, that's not that.
And Tohloo is going to be up against Patois. I get to watch them both go at each other.
that'll be an amazing race.
That'll actually, be really good. Patois, I feel like he has a solid advantage here. Tohloo, if he spends more time grinding out strats, could come up and beat Patois. Yeah, any finishing thoughts for you, Amps?
Nah, I need to learn b-ball, because I'm lazy. Too lazy to do that, but I've been working on it.
It's all good. So
Jeez.
thank you. Sorry.
Oh no, nothing.
Well, thank you, Speed Gaming. Thank you, Fusel, for having us here. I am Mumu Okai.
And I am Pika Pete, and we are signing out.
Stay spooky.